Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
What's your favorite bean, JoJo?
My favorite bean? The one that gets grinded on.
One day, this woke craze might just die out. But today isn't one day, so let's crush some. It is important that you like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, let's get it.
You're trying to say that 150 years isn't enough time for climate change to rapidly exceed, but the population is growing at a huge rate. And one singular person, Taylor Swift, can emit 8,000 tons of CO2 in 1 year.
And she's one of the biggest climate activists.
She's not a climate activist.
Yes, she is.
She's not.
Yes, she does.
No, her private jet.
She advocates for it, but she's still flying private.
Okay, what does that have to do with the fact she's still producing CO2?
Who is a climate activist that you know of that want to make a difference? Bill Gates? Still flying that private jet and still getting that gas guzzling car.
Yeah, any billionaire is not going to actually be a climate activist. That's not the point.
Who's a real climate activist then?
They're still making the
Who's
CO2 emissions.
Who is a climate activist that you know of?
I'm a climate activist.
Well, what are you doing?
I'm studying at UW. And I'm
That
getting
ain't going to change the
environmental
climate.
studies major.
That's not going to change the climate. What are you physically doing? Where do you get coffee this morning?
Well, I don't drive. I don't.
Did you get
emit
coffee
any
this morning?
CO2. No.
You drink coffee?
Not really.
Do you buy? You clearly buy clothes.
I thrift clothes.
You thrift clothes. How did they get here?
But also, one
How did they
singular
get here?
person.
What do you? No, no.
Not
What?
a billionaire is
No.
not going to have the same rate as billionaires.
People always do this. What everybody else gonna do? What are you doing to change the
I
climate?
do stuff every single day, but I'm
Like
also
what?
not a business.
Like what?
I don't drive. I don't emit any CO2 from driving. I only bike and walk.
Yeah,
but
what do
also,
you-
one singular person
still-
that's just an average person is not the same as a billionaire.
You still go
with a
to
private jet.
go to the store, get your groceries. That's come here on a semi. You buy all your clothes that are coming here on a semi. You still are contributing to all of the same things that you claim that you want to advocate against.
And there were no bras at the thrift store. You don't drink Starbucks. Oh, please, you know you're lying. I don't drive. Okay, so? You studying environmental science is supposed to change the world? Girl, please.
Yeah, there's over 8 billion people in the world. I don't think
it's not gonna
one
change.
college student. I'm
And just
talking
say-
about billionaires and businesses, the people that are actually
Who's gonna make a
doing-
difference? Name one. Elon Musk has tried.
We can change public policy to regulate businesses.
Who's gonna do that?
That's how you make a change.
What you gonna regulate?
Politics.
What you gonna regulate? Are you for ending all gas cars?
I'm not for gas cars, but also it's not something you can
No, are
just
you gonna-
change within a matter of.
Well, how long until we end gas cars?
Well, if we start adding more public transportation and working on having infrastructure similar to Europe, like walkable cities. Yeah.
What?
Walkable cities. Yeah. If you've been to Europe, you know it
How many
works.
walkable cities? The whole country?
Have you been to Europe?
Let's do the whole country as a walkable city. What is
It's
China gonna do?
China has public transportation as
And
well,
when you
but
say
they also have a
when you
larger
say walkable
population.
cities, when you say walkable cities, that's going to constrict transportation and communication and networking by a lot. If you
That's
you
not
have
how
to
that
walk
works.
everywhere,
How
you
that
use a
works.
bus.
Do you know what a walkable city is?
Well, nah, that sounds crazy to me. I'm assuming that you walk from one city to the next, or within the
No,
city.
there's train. You can take public transportation.
So everybody has to do public transportation.
You don't have to. It's an option. It's called an option.
And it's going to change the environment. By how much?
It literally does. Go look
By
at
how
Europe.
much?
They produce almost like 10 times less CO2
Okay, but how
than the
much is that
average
gonna
US
affect the
citizen.
climate?
Over time, it will.
How much time?
I mean,
Soon.
I don't
What
have
soon?
an exact number, but
When?
it depends how much we change it. And if you actually
How much?
regulate
How much can we
businesses,
change within 10 years?
It depends what we end up doing.
Everybody, you can't do a walkable city because how are you going to get?
Have you been anywhere? Have you ever been anywhere?
No,
You
I
can't do a walkable city. They exist. They're in
Where?
Europe.
Where?
In Europe.
I'm talking about America.
I mean,
Europe is
there's different
Europe
parts.
is an-
Like San Francisco has pretty good public transportation with their trolleys. You can take the link here.
Here-
I don't
here.
drive personally because you can take public transportation.
But you can't. How much of the city is going to be walkable? Do you think in Seattle?
Well, Seattle's somewhat walkable, but you can design a city to be walkable.
Which city? You
We
gonna
are
design
currently-
this city?
The Link Light Rail is currently working on expanding.
No, but
So,
what about this in the city? Traffic is the worst I've ever seen in any state in Washington.
well, do you know how
How
traffic
they gonna fix that?
regulations work?
How they gonna fix that?
They can fix it by changing the urban development of the city.
How? Changing the freeway structure?
Yes.
How
you know
did
you
that-
can do that, right? You can work on a road.
How much that cost?
I mean, it's not as much as billionaires are costing on their
Billionaires.
private
What? You a
jets.
billionaire gonna come pay for the freeway to get changed?
Bill
in
Gates
Washington?
has
Done
donated
what?
stuff
But
here.
He has, and he's still flying on that jet.
And you know, taxes are a thing,
He's still
right?
flying
And
on
that
that
you
jet.
can use
We
taxes
just gonna keep
to
raising
fix
taxes?
things.
We gonna keep raising taxes?
No, but I think we can tax billionaires more than they
Okay,
already are.
explain that to me. What do you want to do?
tax a billionaire more
What are
than
you gonna?
someone
How are you
who
gonna
has
do
less
that?
money.
What's the plan?
You regulate it through policy.
You're gonna tax the billionaire or the corporation?
Both. You can do both of those things.
At what rate?
At a rate that fits with them. That could be up to 40%.
That's fine.
Because they're
Let's do
billionaires.
40%.
Okay.
And how many businesses you think are gonna do business overseas?
I mean, that's up to them.
No, yeah, exactly. They're gonna move their business out of America, and they're not
They're
gonna do
still
business
gonna
here.
get taxed.
They're not gonna get taxed. Their business being outside America, unless we have tariffs.
They still get income.
They-
They get their income taxed. And
But
they also.
do you understand how billionaires operate? You think a billionaire has his business overseas and he's gonna take all his income in the United States of America?
I think the IRS is a thing, and that they kind of like check people's taxes.
So why haven't they paid their fair share yet?
Because the people like Trump are making them
Trump
get
ain't
taxed.
been in office.
He has been in office,
Okay,
actually.
Democrats been in office
He has
for
been
the
in office.
12 of the last 16 years.
Okay, cool.
When are they paying their fair share?
I think everybody
It's a
should be
talking
paying their
point.
fair share no matter who's in office.
I think this is the most ridiculous argument ever. A fair share is making billionaires pay 50% and you pay how much? That's not fair. Fair would be everybody pay the same rate. That's fair.
That's not how that works.
So a billionaire has to pay way more than you.
Yeah.
So essentially
For a
the billionaires will be
billionaire.
paying 90% of all the taxes.
I didn't say 90%.
They
but sure.
will. What do you mean? How much tax you pay?
I'd like an average.
How much taxes do you pay?
It's probably around like
How much
10,
taxes did Elon Musk
20%.
pay when he pulled his $50 billion from his Tesla stock?
I don't know. I'm not a
Billions.
Elon
You will
Musk
never
fan.
pay. You, your family, everybody here combined would never pay $1 billion in tax.
Yeah, I'm not a billionaire. How many times do I have to say
So that's
that?
not
Like,
fair.
It
That
is
means
fair.
that means the wealthy people are contributing more.
Are you a
to the
billionaire?
country.
Why are you like
I'm a
sucking your
millionaire.
dicks? Like,
I am a millionaire.
okay, and you're just like, oh, billionaires.
No, I understand economy. I understand if you start taxing them,
You don't
they're
even
gonna
know
start.
what a walkable city is, bro.
There's
Like,
no rational person is believing in a walkable city.
he's not believing. It's just a
Where's,
thing.
how many
like-
walkable cities there in America?
I'm so sick of listening to this child yap. If your daddy had some money, you won't be asking to take away somebody else's. Public transportation? Are you serious? Somebody put her in the New York subway, please.
Ask everyone to rate their own looks. Physical looks on a scale of 1 to 10. What, we're gonna go a bit out of order, starting with you.
I would rate myself like on looks a 7 or an 8, but personality I would say a 10.
Okay. What about you?
I said this last time. I think I'm a 9, and I think this is also ridiculous because the only person I'm judging myself against is myself, and I feel like I am in my prime. So that's it.
Period.
Okay.
I'd say that I'm a 3.5.
Girl.
No,
That's
girl,
crazy.
you stop.
I'm allowed to. Yeah, I know. I truly.
Allowed to.
I'm just being real.
Allowed to.
I'm just being real, and there's a lot that I'm lacking in my looks that I am going to improve on, and that's just how it is. So that's what I truly believe.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, it's super subjective. I'm really tall, so I feel like that's either like an immediate turn off or like a turn on, you know, it goes like one of two ways. So like super subjective. However, I had super curly hair when I was little, and I had this dream one day about like what I would look like in the future, and I looked exactly like that, which is kind of funny because I remember.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
It's true. This is true, but you asked. Either way.
Like, just answer the question you were asked. Write your autobiography in your own time. Nobody cares.
We're pushing people out of this party, and the last thing I'll say is, I hate all these people, the anti-woke, the anti-this, the anti-that, but you gotta look in the mirror at a certain point. We've had 5 movements in a row in our party that rely on dehumanizing binaries, where you're putting down some people to lift somebody else up. I love all our movements, but there's a moral flaw when every movement's gotta put somebody down. Black Lives Matter, all white people are racist. That is not gonna work. No, hold on a second. That is, in fact, a part of the ideology that subconsciously, there's unconscious bias. And the way that lands, though, for people is you're calling them names. There's got to be a better way to say it. You walk through all of our movements. You look at Bernie. I love Bernie. All billionaires are evil. Everybody, 99% is a victim. Oprah Winfrey's a billionaire. She's not evil. You look at the climate movement. All traditional energy is evil, including poor, sick coal miners. Environmentalists can throw ketchup on the Mona Lisa and their heroes. That doesn't work. Look at Me Too. Look at now, if you're Jewish. If you're Jewish, you're a colonizer. If you're for the Palestinians, you can do whatever you want to. These things are landing very poorly because it's not Dr. King. It's not Nelson Mandela. It's not Ella Jo Baker. It's not Fannie Lou Hamer. Progressives are at our best when we're saying we want dignity for everybody. We want to free the jailed and the jailers. We want to free the people who have been oppressors and the people who have been oppressed. We want to free everybody. When you stand for everyone's dignity, everybody's humanity, the whole world stands with you. When you do these dehumanizing binaries, even though we're well-intentioned, it lands poorly. So there's a lot of stuff for us to look at. I think we can take these same movements, love everybody, bring everybody to the table, tell white guys we need them, tell white guys we're mad at them because we need them. We're mad at them because we love them, we want them on our side. There's a different way to talk about this stuff.
How she immediately perked up when he talked about the idiocy of all white people being racist is the exact reason sane people want nothing to do with wokies.
So do you not blame Jordan Neely at all? I mean, for what he did? He deserves no blame from your perspective, right?
Did you hear the witness testimony?
I'm asking you a question.
Or are you cherry picking the ones?
I'm asking you a question. Do you blame Jordan Neely at all for his conduct?
If Jordan Neely was a white man, we'd be saying it was an opioid crisis. He was hungry. He was mentally ill. He had a muffin in.
I wouldn't be if there. What about the witnesses? Let's play again, just so we're clear on the race.
Play Eddie Gibson, who begged Daniel Neely to stop.
Oh, yeah, but he stayed there throughout the incident.
Play the ones that fit the narrative.
But what's the narrative? There's black women who were on the subway. It was mostly people of color on the subway.
What about a white man during cross-examination who said that he was afraid of Daniel Penny, the one who poured water onto his head and said that he was afraid? He was a white man.
Yeah, okay, so...
What about the Latino man who was holding his arms?
I'm not the one identifying everyone by race. You are. You're the one who keeps telling... Why? Why do you have to? There was nothing in this case.
Because when you look at the FBI, when you look at when hate crimes happen, when you look at when injustice happen to black people,
but let's agree.
Don't get justice.
Let's agree to some. Look, I'm going to be doing a segment later this week on a missing black woman who has not been getting nearly enough attention.
Send it to me and I'll share the
by the media.
Absolutely.
Because I understand that, and to that degree, you have a fair point about the way sometimes the media and the justice system handles. But not in this case. This case, even the prosecutors conceded Daniel Penny had every right to go hands-on, and the question became, okay, when should he have stopped? Ultimate question is, why did the jury acquit? Is it because they're racist?
America is inherently biased.
So the jury is racist.
Have you seen?
I'm asking you a question. No, don't change the subject. Is it because the jury is racist?
Yes.
Okay.
The jurors.
Even the black person on the jury.
Would you like to hear something?
Yeah.
I believe that even black people can be anti-black.
BLM is on its way to become social terrorists. 2 black men helped restrain Jordan. Daniel Penny is 1 white man. Where is BLM when black men shoot each other? Or do black lives only matter when they can raise racism donations?
What's your nationality?
American.
Are you white?
I'm black American.
Oh, okay.
What do you want?
Okay.
Oh, you do? And why do you think that?
Because you seem to separate yourself from us, should I say.
In
put
what
us on
way?
the other side
In what
of the
way?
fence. In the ways that you specified thus far.
Meaning what? Give me an example and tell me what you mean.
How you mean? What do you people want from white people? Meaning that I'm not with you.
Oh, okay, I got
just y'all by yourself, right?
Let me explain why I do that. What you don't know is that there are 2 realities in life. One is that of good and one is that of evil. And now that I've been able to overcome evil, I don't identify with angry, evil black people. I identify with other blacks and others who are on the side of good. And so that's why I say you people, because I have to divide myself or separate myself from evil and go along with good. So that's why I do that.
What is it that makes us evil?
I'm sorry, your anger, your blaming others for your problems, your lack of love and respect for yourself and others.
Okay.
What's so funny about him saying black American? Yeah, it still doesn't look good.
You all believe in limited government. I believe in limited government. I'm an anarchist. I believe in really limited government, right? But you touched on
socialist and an anarchist.
No.
You can't be both.
Let me finish, okay? So you said, you guys were touching on something a little bit earlier. You said, there is no conservative Antifa. Conservatives don't protest. I said that. Yeah, do you know why? I'll tell you why. There's no conservative Antifa. Conservatives, as a rule, don't protest because money talks. And you don't want limited government. You want limited government for yourselves. You don't want limited government for the working people. I'll tell you why. Because, let me finish, right? The reason there is no conservative Antifa, the reason that conservatives don't protest is because you don't need to. You hold the levers of power anyway. You own the police, you own the army, you own the media, right? You don't need to protest. You get other people to do it for you.
Wait, okay, so...
As a class, as a collective, conservatism and the right wing rules the media. It rules the police.
Whoa, stop. I know, this is a little... There's so many... No, you've made a few, though. You've made a few here.
We talk about free speech. I'll be 2 more minutes. So you talk about limited...
No. First off, saying we rule the media, have you read a single article about Turning Point UK? Have you read a single article about Turning Point UK? Because by that standards, you're ruling the media. If you've looked at anything that's been said about us before we got here, you're ruling the media. Secondly, this idea of trying to I'm tired of this like lazy intellectual argument of like conservatives are all rich white people, because that's what you're doing here when you say like you guys are the ruling elites. No, people, you're correct that we have jobs and we can't show up at 8 a.m. in the morning. No. I'm gonna come back to you. You're correct that we have jobs and we can't show up. You've heard me. I came from absolutely nothing, so I'm not gonna let you do this little like ooh woe is me workers part. That's my entire life. Okay, I'm a conservative because I believe in hard work, and I think it's lazy to stand outside and hold a sign. I think it's lazy, okay? So if that's your excuse, you're not gonna get away with this with me, okay? You're not gonna paint conservatives as rich people that are in power and in control. You're talking to the wrong girl, okay? So come with an intellectual argument about why it is that conservatives don't riot and protest and incite violence in the middle of the street, because the answer is not because they're rich and controlling the media.
It's because we're better people.
Now wait a minute, who runs what media? The media that requires you to say your pronouns and sexuality? The same media that wants you to preach about pregnant dads and sperm-producing moms? Don't make me laugh, mate.
Why do you think that no one ever talks about the nuclear family at all publicly?
Maybe a lack of importance. And I mean, obviously, it's very important that, you know, you have a father and a mother growing up. That's very crucial to childhood.
We agree.
Yes, but to get to my point, in 2020 with the George Floyd protests...
Riots.
Riots or protests, depends.
Were they riots or protests?
All right, well, we disagree on that, but to get to my point...
Sure. Were they mostly peaceful?
I believe so, yes.
Please let Andrew talk. Let Andrew talk. It takes a lot of courage to come up. I'm going to defend you. Please
No, it's
continue.
okay. People can disagree, but I just like to get my point off. So I think police brutality and the nuclear family are two separate issues, okay? So I think that there's over-policing in black neighborhoods. Would you agree?
Not even close. Under-policing, actually. And don't take my word for it. Again, like half of all murders in Chicago aren't even solved. That's bad, right?
Okay, but that's Chicago, okay?
Well, but again, about only 60% in Baltimore are solved. It's across the country. But Chicago is America's third largest city, New York, LA, Chicago. Let's just pause right here. In order to solve murders, you need detectives, which are police officers. So we should agree that if you commit a murder, we should find out who it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so half of all murders are not solved. You can fact check me on this. Chicago murder solve rate 50%. You guys can all fact check me on this. So should we need more police then?
I never said I disagree about defunding the police.
No, but you said over-policed. I don't think we have enough. So show me an example. Show me a city where we have too many police and be specific.
Well, I can't come up with any specific example.
Well, but you said that we're over-policed. You got to give me some specifics. It can't be an abstraction. You got to tell me the city in America that is over-policed, because I'd be interested to know about that city.
Well, like I said, I don't have any specific examples, but I'm going to
Because it doesn't exist, though.
I'm going to pivot really quick, if that's okay.
Before you pivot, I just want to just teach you something, Andrew. It's easy to say that you're over-policed. You got to back up the data. There's no incident in the country of any city that's over-policed. It does not exist. We have a police staffing shortage in this country. We don't have enough police, but please pivot.
Okay, so really to get back to my point, I think police brutality and the culture, black culture, is two separate things. I think police officers kneeling on someone's neck for 9 minutes is a completely separate incident.
What was George Floyd's cause of death?
Asphyxiation.
Actually, the original medical report by the Hennepin County Examiner said that it was a drug overdose. Did you know that?
But that was hired by the state. An independent coroner reported that it was asphyxiation.
It's interesting. You might be right, but if you guys love truth, you should go and dive into the Derek Chauvin court documents. There's a lot more to the George Floyd situation than anyone ever told you. It really is, and it's a great video. And I'm not even, you might be right, but there's so much more to that circumstance of George Floyd that was overdosing on drugs, right? That also, did you know that what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd was actually in the police manual training? It was completely justified and was trained by his superiors to do. Now, let me ask you a question. How many unarmed black people, on average, are killed by police a year?
Well, I'd have to look up that statistic.
Guess.
Probably over 50%.
Yeah, it's 15 people a year. And that's not my number, that's the Washington Post that came up with it and did a national crime survey. And they even were generous and they said unarmed, meaning you had a weapon nearby or you had a knife that you dropped. So you're talking about police brutality for an incident that happens 15 times a year in a country of 350 million people.
I almost zoned out when he said mostly peaceful protest. Sir, please, be honest. Hypocrisy is not a good look.
The first of which is you were talking about you want an America that fears God. But it's believed to be back to the fundamentals of when this country was started and the Constitution was made, that there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, but it seems you don't believe that anymore.
Where does it say that in the U.S. Constitution?
It was written in the Constitution. I don't exactly remember what part, but it has been written.
It's not, actually. So, and that's okay. I'm going to help you out here. Okay. There's the free expression clause and the establishment clause. What you're thinking is of the First Amendment. What you're thinking of is that Congress shall make no law prohibiting or promoting the exercise of religion or the free exercise thereof. Now, mind you, the separation of church and state is not in the U.S. Constitution, and that's okay. Not a lot of people know this. It is from a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1803 to the Danbury Baptist Convention in Massachusetts, saying to the church, the government will not come after you. There was no question at the time of the founding that God played a central role in all of our government. In fact, God is there in 4 times mentioned in the Declaration of Independence. And never should we, and you would agree, there should never be separation of morality in state.
But then I have another question, not the second question, but do you believe there should be a separation between those two things, church and state?
Well, it depends on, let's play it out. Do we currently have that? During COVID, the government was able to shut down the church. Should that be allowed?
I mean, I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so the point is that we don't even have separation of church and state because the state was able to tell the church whether or not that you could practice on Easter. Now, that's the standard that they currently have. Do I believe in a separation of morality and state? Of course not. Now, the morality that built the West is the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments is the best rules of life for any society to flourish and to be able to succeed. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall have no other idols. You shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Honor your mother and father, so you may live long in the land of which you are in. Honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Do not murder. Do not steal. Do not, bear false witness. Do not covet. Do not commit adultery. It's out of order, but that's still the 10 Commandments. Those rules for life is what the founders believed, so much so that they're in the halls of Congress and the Supreme Court. That we believe is transcendently transmitted to us, and that when we do not submit to those 10 Commandments, our country starts to fall apart.
Most people find it hard to understand that mortality was not defined by humans. And that's why pro-life and abortion lovers can't see eye to eye.
Can you agree that most Republican pundits, including Trump, allude to undocumented immigrants having higher rates of violent crime than the average American? Yes?
You should say it again.
Can you agree that most Republican politicians, including Trump, say that undocumented immigrants have higher crime rates?
I don't agree to that.
With Trump himself called undocumented immigrants rapists and murderers, yes?
Yeah, that's true.
No, okay, based on what? Because every single major statistical analysis on this subject, you can Google this yourself, has found that undocumented immigrants have lower crime rates
than
white people. Yeah, of course.
And I don't care about anybody else. No, forget everybody else. Are illegal aliens raping and killing?
Yeah, but white people also are, and black people also are.
That's not the question. He was talking about illegal aliens.
Yeah, but
that don't belong in this country. They're illegally here.
But he's using it to call for a deportation. Is he calling for a deportation of black or white people?
What? He called for deportation of illegals.
Yeah, no, but specifically on the basis of crime, in that sense, right?
Illegal people.
Yeah, of course.
But all colors.
We're talking about crime. That's completely irrelevant.
They're committing crimes.
I know, that's completely irrelevant. A lower rate than white people.
14.
Wait, hold up.
Murderers. 14,000 murderers are running free in the United States of America.
And how much?
It was like 17,000 of them are convicted rapists that are running free in America.
Okay.
Over 400,000 crimes committed by illegals that they know of.
But can you point?
Is that a problem?
Yes, but can you? No, yeah, but also like rapes and murders with white people are also morally wrong, right? Or committed by black people.
Well, I would love to deport every rapist from America, but you can't get those citizens.
Of course.
But if you're illegally in this country,
can you allude to specific statistical analysis which have found that Hispanic immigrants commit more crime per capita than white people or black people?
It's irrelevant.
It's completely irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
If we're talking about their predisposition towards crime and taking them out of the country because of the fact that they commit crime, if they're more peaceful than white or black people.
The crime is illegal immigration. Is that a crime?
No, but we're not talking about immigration.
No, is illegal immigration a crime?
That's red herring. I was talking specifically about crime.
Red herring. What are you saying? These people committed a crime first, and they're here illegally. That's a crime.
But Trump,
and technically by law they should be deported, right? That's law.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they commit a crime on top of that crime, and Trump is saying they should be deported. Do you disagree?
That what? On what specifically?
A person is illegally in our country and they commit a crime. Should they be deported?
If they commit a crime after illegally immigrating, yes.
Okay.
I believe that illegal immigration in and of itself isn't morally wrong.
What do you mean?
Do you equate legality with morality?
Look,
no, hold up. It's a yes or no question. Do you think that morality and legality are equal? If someone does something that's illegal,
I think that it's a balance between the two.
No, I agree. But I think that just because something
you don't kill them, you don't shoot them dead when they cross the fence, but you got to hold them accountable to immigration laws. So,
of course, but what I'm saying,
they're invading our country. Invading our country should be a use of deadly force, but we don't do that because that's not moral.
Hold on. But how is that immoral? How is coming into this country for the sake of working immoral?
Listen, hold on.
But how?
No. If you come through a port of entry, or you immigrate like some of these other people probably have that are sitting here listening to me, that's totally fine.
Okay.
If you break into our country, that's against the law.
I know, but how's that immoral?
You can't.
No, but my question is an illegal. I don't.
It's immoral because you're breaking our law.
Okay, hold up. So
and you're
for
also
example,
causing strain on the taxpayer.
Okay, if we're talking about solving crime in the United States and deporting immigrants is a way to get rid of that, it's not actually helping because, as I told you, and you haven't disputed, illegal immigrants don't actually commit crimes that are hate right.
Let's have a fruitful argument. Do you believe that illegal immigration is against our law?
Yes.
Should we do something about it?
Depends.
We should just let people in our country?
No, I believe that.
Do you know that we allow more legal immigrants than any other country in the world?
Cool.
1 million people a year we allow in this country legally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold up.
Do you agree that we can't just have people coming in our country whom we can't even identify?
I mean, to an extent, right?
Do you agree that there's other people who have nefarious means or nefarious motives that are coming into our country through the border illegally?
A statistical minority. Yes.
It doesn't matter. It's enough to kill people.
Lower than white people. So like, what's your point? If you're specifically talking about them as criminals, but they commit less crimes.
It doesn't matter because we're talking about illegals and legal citizens. That's different. You cannot deport legal citizens.
I just got you to admit that legality doesn't equate with morality.
That's not true. There's a balance.
Where?
It's against the law for people to come into our country, right? It's against the law. Deportation is the lawful remedy according to our Constitution and law. Okay? But we have exceptions because we let people come in here and seek asylum. So that's the morality legality argument. We don't kill them.
Hold on.
At the border.
How does that make immigration in of itself immoral?
Illegal immigration, son.
Yeah, but
we're talking about legal and illegal.
When you say that, you're directly equating legality with morality. Explain. In this scenario, how is illegal immigration immoral? No, hold on.
Listen, we have a process. No, hold on. We have a process. If you want to come to the beautiful country of America, you can seek asylum in America.
Okay.
You can come through a port of entry. There's a legal system in place that will allow people to come to this country.
You're still not answering my question.
No, I'm answering.
Okay.
So when you decide, I'm not going to seek asylum, I'm not going to follow their laws, I'm not going to do any of that, I'm just going to sneak into their country. That is immoral and illegal.
What an utterly exhausting young man. New flash, if you're doing something illegal, you are immoral. So yes, you can link legality and morality. Also, if you're white and you're watching this, I would like to give you a hug. It must be hard just breathing in this world.
I don't know that seeing them celebrating in a bar made me comfortable, you know? I mean, you killed a guy. The man is dead, and maybe you take the celebration home. You don't do it outside, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But what and people are conflicted because he was an ill man, and the more information we're learning about him now, it turns out his mom had been murdered, and that may have been what set him off on his mental path.
Well, that's what his family is saying.
That's what they're saying.
And so when you look at that and you look at the result of what happened, my question is, where is our compassion as a society? Where is our compassion? And one other.
Maybe Daniel Penny was acting out of compassion for the vulnerable people on that subway. Also, he wasn't celebrating death. He was celebrating freedom. You would too. You guys have been celebrating the pardon of your Democrat criminals, so give it a rest.
Of course, respectfully. If you say to me you should respect people, I always respect people. I would disrespect you if I lied to you. I'm not going to call a man a woman. I'm not going to call a woman a man. I'm not going to say sorry for telling the truth.
Your beliefs.
It's not my belief. A woman cannot be a man, and a man cannot be a woman. It's not a belief.
But I'm saying in your perception of the world is different from someone else's perspective, because just as emphatic as you are, that you believe what you just said, there's someone that believes emphatically the opposite.
Okay, so what you're talking about is the idea that everything can be subjective and there's no such thing as truth. And let me tell you why that. But that's why it's either a yes or a no.
No, because we're either talking about feelings or facts.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I believe there is objective truth. Okay.
Okay.
A person that is born a man. Okay. A person that is born with a penis, as we call it. Okay. Cannot ever grow up and give birth. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so there is such thing as an objective truth. I will not apologize for sharing objective truth. I'm not going to apologize for not saying because his feelings are hurt and do you see how I feel? Because
so you have no problem going throughout the world hurting people's feelings.
I have no problem going out the world. That's one way to pitch it. Telling people the truth so they can better their lives. So they can live in reality and not the one, not the fantasy land that they're creating for their lives. But what if someone
believes that is a better life for them?
Okay, well let's play it your way then. Let's do it the other way. A group of people who are now referring to themselves as minor attracted people.
Oh, I knew you was going. Can't go there.
Hey, but that's what they believe, that they are in love and want to have sex with children. They believe that, Nick. They believe it. And are you going to apologize when you call them pedophiles? Are you going to apologize, Nick? Are you going to have them on your podcast?
That's a hell of a
Don't you
point.
understand how they feel on the inside when you say that they can't have sex with 8-year-olds?
I'm sorry, but Nick Cannon should stick to his rap battles, man. Truth and perception are two different things. Because you perceive it doesn't mean it's true. Also, if there's never a standard and a line, the world will go up in flames. People think they have the right to kill people who aren't of the same faith. Do we respect that perception, or do we call it murder?
To make it today.
It's a great day. It's a great day because the president's in obviously great spirits, and we're stepping into, I would say, pro-growth, pro-business, pro-American administration I've perhaps seen in my adult lifetime, certainly.
The president mentioned the word incentive. Upstairs, downstairs. How would you characterize corporate America's appetite for responding to those incentives?
Ebullience. Yeah. So we just had a nice little ceremony, and CEOs of broad array of big American companies, and I would say everyone is incredibly enthusiastic, really about a new administration that's about efficiency, removing the impediments to growth, deregulation. I think a lot of confidence that comes from that.
Yeah. Bill. I hear that as well, of course. In the investment community, though, the things that seem to concern some people are the unknowns, tariffs and deportations. Do you share that at least concern, or what is your sense as to how that's going to go? The impact on inflation obviously is a key component, potentially, if both are quite deep and severe.
Sure. So look, I think with respect to immigration, the president's very focused on the safety of the American people and having an open border, not vetting people coming in, having criminals into the country. I think that's the number one priority, and that is actually pro-economy move. If you get rid of people who are causing harm.
That's 100,000 people, 11 million potentially.
Unfortunately, I think it's more than that, but that's a priority. I think the overarching theme is President Trump will do nothing that interferes with the success of the country, the success of the economy. That's absolutely his number. Other than our national defense, that's his number one issue. So I think he's going to be very thoughtful about tariffs.
You do?
I think it's a very powerful tool that can be used to level the playing field. I think that's what he wants. He wants a level playing field.
The fear-mongering never ends. If you can't be an appropriate reporter, just pick up a placard and go marching with your fellow activists. It's really not that hard.
It was a question asked about, what about if women do this and think that men,
See, when you make accusations, you got to be specific about what happened.
How about this? You guys filled this out before the start of the show. What before the start of the show would establish myself or the show as misogynistic?
I wish I could pull up one of y'all clips.
Which clip? Go ahead. Here, how about we start with Destiny? What is something I have said that is misogynistic?
I think that the show kind of has that rep. So that's kind of what I come into it.
What,
I was like,
what,
mentally prepared.
Okay, what has what has led to that reputation?
Maybe like the arguments being mostly based on men and women and like what they bring to the table and like what do they.
How would that be misogynistic?
Even just your guys' arguments.
Which one?
There's so many.
Okay, give me one.
I have stoner brain.
I think y'all confuse a male's perspective as being misogynistic.
Maybe.
No, because I argue with men all the time, and you can just tell when somebody like hates women versus like when they just want to.
You can tell when dudes want a women worshiper versus a man who's not afraid to be objective with a woman. I think y'all get it twisted. Y'all think because a man is objective and he's challenging how you think, that he thinks he's better than women, and y'all think a guy that's willing to say, "Oh yeah, you're right," that he's a real man. No, he just he's afraid to lose you. Some men are not afraid to lose you at the sake of their own self-respect and sanity. But that doesn't mean they're misogynistic.
I'm not talking about men that's afraid to lose me. I'm talking about people that I argue with on the daily.
I'll summarize quickly. If you don't agree with her, regardless of how stupid she sounds, you're misogynistic. You hate women, and you just might be gay too.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you are asking me about Muslim illegal immigration, none, not even one, will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked not about illegal immigrants, I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. This is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland, and we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Why wouldn't you be proud of doing your job well? Not everyone is a butt-kissing weakling like the current administration.
Relationship status, what about you?
I have a pet.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pet, like my dog.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I thought you were joking.
He sleeps on my floor in the dog bed.
He's like a sub? Is that what you call him? Or a slave?
He just does whatever I ask. A servant?
So you have a master-slave BDSM dynamic.
Yeah, basically. I went
You're being serious, right?
Yeah, I got out of a relationship about a year ago. The guy tried to strangle me like 5 times, ran to the neighbor's house.
I'm not sure how that's relevant, but okay.
So I ended up with a
sub.
sub
Because as you know, the best way to recover from being in an abusive relationship is to abuse somebody. Everybody knows that.
So the abused became the abuser. How empowering. If a man says, "Don't wear that dress," that's abuse. But a woman keeping a man in a dog bed, on a leash, and publicly referring to him as a pet is progressive.
Okay, on the actual election being stolen, you think it was stolen?
I think that, this is what I think happened. I think that there was cheating going on that was consequential in swing states. There was cheating going on around the country. They cheat every year. Everybody cheat every year. But I think this was uniquely consequential, and here's why. There has never in the history of this country that an incumbent president had got that many more votes and didn't win. There's no president in the United States history that won all but one Bellwether County and didn't win the presidency. There's no president in history that won the swing states that Trump won and didn't win the presidency. There's never in history of our constitutional republic that they quit counting the votes in the middle of the night and resume counting the next day. These things have never happened in the history of this country.
Okay.
And when those anomalies happen, Donald Trump is incredibly more popular than he was last time. We have to look at nefarious things that have happened. 2,000 Mules was a really good documentary that exposed a lot of those things that have happened.
I don't care about the Facebook documentary, okay? My question is,
that thing grossed $14 million.
Trump filed over 60 lawsuits.
Fine.
Wait, let me finish the question.
Fine.
60 lawsuits, over 30 of them reviewed on merit. Many of them were reviewed by Trump-appointed judges. His own DOJ said that there was no fraud.
They were reviewed and not taken because they didn't have standing. They didn't review it, it didn't go through a process.
I just said that a bunch of those court cases had standing, they were reviewed on merit, and they were laughed
I disagree with you because I reported people who cheated in the election in Arizona.
On the ground. Giuliani reported on the ground too, and he got disbarred because he lied.
I saw what I saw. I believe that they cheated. Next.
Okay, that's my only question.
Okay, thank you.
When you see a person who gets their life's trajectory from CNN, MSNBC, and The View, you just know it.
I haven't heard of you. Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I'm a fan, but I've been distancing myself from it because, you know.
Why?
I don't agree with J.K. Rowling's view on, trans people. But I'm fine with other people supporting it, more power to them.
What is her view?
Doesn't really like them or think it's... I'm pretty sure she thinks it's a mental illness, which I don't, so I'm a psychology student.
So psychology student.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from your perspective, because you're in psychology, and that's pretty important. If you could tell her or correct her with something, what would you say?
I would say, the science is changing on it all the time. Do your own research on it, read papers on it and that kind of stuff. Don't just assume, people. Just go out and talk to people, that actually, are trans and stuff like that.
What has she said about them?
Not gonna matter what you think. If you're born a man, you're born a man. If you're born a woman, you're born a woman. I personally don't care.
You think a man could be a woman?
I think whatever is in somebody's pants, that's their business, not mine, honestly. So I don't care.
What is a woman?
Honestly, a woman is just somebody who, thinks they're a woman. I mean, gender is just defined by society.
Right.
Like sex, yes, that is biological, but gender, that's just a social construct.
Okay. So if someone said, I'm a woman, what does that mean though?
Whatever it means to them, honestly. Like some people would say, I shouldn't be considered a woman because I don't want to have children.
Well, your desire to have children or not, that doesn't define if you're a woman. Would you say that your ability to have children or not would? So having the organs
is biologically a woman. She can't have children.
But she does have the organs that would make that. I think that's what they're arguing, right?
Like my grandmother had a hysterectomy. Does she no longer become a woman because she no longer has the organs?
I don't know. That's a good question. But does someone with a penis, is that a woman?
Hey, I'd say if they're not actively using it, sure.
Oh, is dental hygiene also a social construct? Anyway, if you ever need a therapist and you see this face, please run. No need to thank me.
I don't know. The whole thing is a little, look, you're free to do it. You obviously can do it. You can have a string of casual sexual encounters. You can f guys within 30 minutes of meeting them. You can do that for like 10 dudes in a row. And then you meet like that one guy who you really like. It's like, okay, we're going to wait 3 months. You can do that. But from the guy's perspective, if I were to find this out, I mean, one, the whole like 10 dudes recently, immediately, that's already kind of a disqualifier. But that would just be like ridiculous. And I'd be like, yeah, you can do it, but like I'm not gonna play your game. Like, goodbye. Find some
Well,
sucker.
maybe it's a compliment to you though. Like maybe if you were the guy in the situation, don't you feel like there's a little bit of a compliment in that?
This reminds me of a recent Reddit thing that we looked at. So, no, I don't think it's a compliment, because I think if she was that attracted to me, that she would just want to have sex with me. If she was that into me, she would just be wanting to have sex.
But the same way you just said, if a woman had sex with 10 people before meeting you, she'd be an immediate disqualifier. Maybe shit happens. Like I said, bitches go to Miami. Shit happens.
You were in Miami. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that she sees something in you and she doesn't want to be disqualified, but she's made mistakes, as all humans do. Maybe you've had sex with 10 girls prior, but she doesn't want to be disqualified. So she needs to show that she's growing in her mentality, and so are you. Like I said, learning curve. I don't know why it has to be like women are manipulative. Like, yeah, sometimes we are.
Or just, no, right? That seems to be the more standard is like, yeah, that's nice that you've grown and this and that, but no, also no, hard pass, right? I think that seems completely reasonable to me.
You're growing? I think the term is expiring, so you need to find someone to get you off the shelf quickly.
Can you imagine going to the gym dressed like this for attention and not one single person looks at you? So you go back, you do the walk a second time, and still nobody looks at you. How embarrassing. And just imagine if a man did something like this. He would be arrested immediately. But there is one thing I do like about this video. I know there's a lot of people out there that are scared, have a lot of anxiety of going to the gym because you think people are going to watch you or stare at you. This is proof that nobody cares. Go to the gym and do you. To this woman, I hope somebody recognizes this gym and they kick your ass out.
No one looked because you could immediately click what she was, an attention-seeking 304. You see them every other day. It's not really a sight to behold anymore.
Children cannot consent to puberty blockers. Children under the age of 18. You disagree with this sign?
I 100% disagree with this sign.
Right.
It is really critical to trust people at any age that they know what's going on. Yeah. I don't believe in ageism, so.
Okay.
So what about when it comes to sex? Do you believe in ageism? Do you believe that children can consent to sex with adults?
Not with adults.
Why not?
Okay, we're talking about different things. So ageism as in that adults have all of the accumulated knowledge that ever needs to be had versus children.
That's a good point.
That is what I'm talking about. Like, adults do not have all the accumulated knowledge. I don't agree with that. Like,
children.
It is important to trust that like people at different ages have different levels of knowledge. And if you're videotaping me, please stop.
Okay, so you said that we trust children to know what's best for them in your first argument, but now when it comes to sex, children don't have the accumulated knowledge. You acknowledge that. So you're saying children can change sex, but they can't have sex. Why is
You
that
are
different
doing
standard?
the hate group thing where you're mishmashing predatory things with kids understanding their own genders and their own identities. Predatory sexual behavior is not the same thing as people being trans. They are different things. You cannot put them in the same group.
I'd say indoctrinating children to believe that they're born in the wrong body and that they need to change their body to find true happiness. I'd say that's a pretty predatory.
No one is being indoctrinated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't you think it's predatory, though, to, for example, give a double mastectomy to a 12, 13-year-old girl?
Don't think it's predatory
You
because
think that's
like
okay?
people have to go through a lot of counseling in order to get to that point.
Not so much anymore.
I disagree with you. I know a lot of trans kids.
How old are they?
That's none of your business.
So let me give you one quick
I
example.
did not
of
ask that
how
specific question.
Let me take one quick example of how this isn't happening. Last year in Milwaukee, they had a Pride event, and a psychologist set up a tent there with a sandwich board outside saying, trans or non-binary, 3 letters of recommendation for surgery. All you had to do was walk up to this psychologist and they'll just rubber stamp your letter that you need to go get surgery. I know other kids who've called in over the phone to telehealth in order to get the recommendations that we need. We've got Jamie Reed, who is married to a trans man, calls herself a queer woman. She worked at the Washington University Transgender Clinic in St. Louis for 4 years as case manager. She quit in November. She says the kids that come in to their gender clinic there, they send them to a therapist that they know will simply rubber stamp the letter that's needed for surgery. And if a child happens to come in from some outside therapist who doesn't think this is the right course of action, they'll send them to an in-house psychologist or psychiatrist who they know will then rubber stamp it. There are no safeguards anymore for these kids. And to even suggest that these children need therapy is to invalidate their gender identity. And so the trend is no therapy at all. It's like what you said in your first argument. Children know what's best for them, and they don't dare to question anything anymore. They start them on puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and refer them for surgeries right away. What do you think of that?
I think you have not even close to completely full information. Like maybe that is a sliver of what is going on, but the great majority of trans kids do have tons of conversations with the adults in their lives. Rarely is something done immediately. I know a lot of trans kids and or on the non-binary spectrum, and very, very, very rarely do you do something when you're under 18 that is not easily reversible, like puberty blockers, which are easily reversible because you can stop taking them and then puberty happens again. Some of them do. Yeah.
The statistics on this are 98% of children who start on puberty blockers progress to cross-sex hormone, because you're not just signing them up for puberty blockers. These kids are committed to this whole pathway. They're told that first they need to stop their bodies from developing because it would be too traumatic for them to appear like their actual sex. It'd be traumatic for a young girl to develop into a woman.
Please do not. No! Do you know how many hate groups will come after me and dox me? What hate groups?
All right.
So many.
You were the one that flipped us off. That's why we came over here.
You're walking around with a hate speech billboard.
Right, but pretty reasonable that we came over here to talk to you after you flipped us off, correct? So if you didn't want the attention, you shouldn't have given it to us.
Multiple times not to video record me.
Ma'am, you saw the cameras right off the bat. The only reason why you're suddenly getting jittery is because you noticed that you have begun to lose the debate. Also, the only people who go after other people online over trans issues are your kind.
6 candy bars. She eats better than you.
The smoky eyeshadow is her sister. When the obese one dies, the sister should get arrested for conspiracy or something? Her day's meal is a grocery list and that's healthy?
Trump is a loser. He lost elections, he's lost court cases, he's now a convicted felon. He has lost 2, almost 3 wives. We'll see what Melania does after the current election season ends. Kamala Harris is a winner. Kamala Harris got elected not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 or 5 times if you count her being on the VP ticket.
He starts off his opening statement saying MAGA people don't care about facts. We'll see who cares about facts during the course of this debate. Then you bring up his wives. Is that really a topic of conversation you want to get into? Wives? Yeah, I don't think so. He then talks about losses when I'm pretty sure you've lost every debate that you've had. So I don't know if you want to talk about losses either. You then mentioned Kamala being a winner. Maybe you can ask me a question. What primary did she win? What state did she win? Did she even get a single vote during the campaign process? The answer, of course, is no, she didn't. And this is the party that wants to protect democracy.
Just to clarify, the first guy is Dummy Destiny. He is bisexual and was in an open marriage with a bisexual OnlyFans girl, I believe. Yeah, that didn't end well at all.
Who said they were a 9? Oh, okay, well then I'm a 10.
That wasn't funny.
No, it is funny.
Rude.
Yeah.
So
I would rate myself a 10. Let me ask you a question then. Are you the person who rates yourself the highest at the table?
Who rates myself the highest at the table? Yes.
She is.
Yeah. So then I want you to just acknowledge that you think you're the prettiest girl at the table.
That is brilliant.
Just own it. Just own it.
Yeah, sorry.
Are you?
I mean,
say it.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest.
Yes, I am.
You're the hottest girl.
Now, let me
what do you
ask
think about that, Mia?
to the gal who's next to you, who's sitting next to you right now, in the gray, in the first row, who leans back and puts herself out of frame all the time.
Not intentionally.
Is she the prettiest girl at the table?
I have so much self-love for myself.
No. Hang on, not you. To the gal in the gray. Is she the prettiest girl at the table?
Are you you're asking?
Yeah.
I think everybody's beautiful.
Is she the prettiest girl at the table? weasel.
Don't weasel.
I will not say that she is the single prettiest girl at the table. No.
Who's the first prettiest girl?
The single prettiest girl.
Who's the
I would
prettiest
probably say. I'd honestly say you.
Oh my gosh,
You're the
stop
most
it.
beautiful, truly.
You're making me shy.
We were both
Stop.
just saying
You're so
that.
sweet. Thank you.
So then she's a 10?
You're saying who is the prettiest. I'm not saying. You didn't
Don't
ask
set me
who
up
is a
for that.
10.
Yeah, well, wait. If the gal next to you claims she's a 9, and you think the gal in the red is a 10, right? I mean, she must be a 10. Otherwise, she can't be prettier than the 9, unless you think that the gal next to you is not a 9. Is that what you're saying? You don't think she's a 9?
You're setting me up for failure.
Well, wait. No. I'm just...
Andrew is straight up diabolical. People always tie delusion with self-love for some reason. You could be a 3 and still be in love with yourself.
Ass off.
Okay. Quick question. Do you hate women?
Not enough.
Okay. Because
I wish I hated them a little bit more. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you always ask stupid questions?
No, I'm just by your responses. It kind of sounds a little to me like it's almost as if like you're like very negative on women.
Wait. Hold on. It sounds a little misogynistic.
I don't want to use that.
Men says something misogynistic
Wait, hold on,
gets
hold
called.
on. Oh my God, can you kindly stop interrupting?
Yes, Brian.
So, you just said, you asked him if he hates women, the implication being that he hates women. Do you know what the definition of misogyny is?
I mean, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to use that word because that
You're literally, it's the same thing that you're trying to imply. You're implying he hates women, misogyny, hatred of women.
Okay, well then,
Why
yeah,
don't you
I'm
want to use the word? Why don't you want to use the word?
Because like that's a very, I mean, in today's society, it's a very like, how can I put this? It's a very, just like feminism, like people, we don't really understand the definitions of like feminism or misogynistic, so I don't really know. I'm just asking that question because the response is just giving like women are the problem. I'm not saying that that is how I'm interpreting your response to the questions that we're giving you. So I'm just asking, do you hate women? And I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to...
Do you hate children?
Well,
Because
no.
based on the responses that you gave when it came to pregnancy and having the kids, it sounds to me like you really hate children.
I'm just asking.
I'm just asking too. Do you hate children?
I don't hate children.
Based on the answers that you gave about wanting to adopt, not wanting to give your husband kids, it sounds to me like you hate children.
But how would I?
Why do you hate children?
If I were going to adopt?
Why do you hate children so much? How can I hate women if I'm in a room having conversation with them?
I mean, but you can still have conversations with people.
I don't know.
And
My
hate them.
feeling is you hate children. That's how I interpret it.
I'm just interpreting.
I just
what you're doing,
interpret
just like
it
you're
as you
interpreting
hating children.
What I'm doing.
Yeah,
so I'm just asking. I'm just
I just
asking a simple
interpret it
question.
that way.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Yeah, I
We can agree to
interpret that
disagree.
you don't want to give your husband children because you hate children and you hate husbands.
I mean, kids are.
I also
kids
think
are
you
gonna
hate
be,
husbands too.
Well, I mean.
Why do you hate husbands so much?
I mean, I'm married, so I don't really necessarily.
I know,
hate them.
and I'm in a room full of women. It's like, what's your?
But like, I'm just because I'm going from like an emotional standpoint.
Me too. You hate husbands and you hate children.
No.
Again, because they don't agree with you doesn't mean they hate your entire gender. Calm down. You guys only want 6 feet tall millionaires. Do you hate middle class short kings?
Down our thighs, I blame all the men who allowed their friends to yell and hoe while telling themselves that they are not like them. I blame you for the degradation, humiliation of my sisters. I blame you for every time you don't speak up, because God knows that the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who did nothing. And I am almost sorry for every man who ever felt that feminism isn't important. Because if this is what feminism is, then what the does that make you? If this is feminism, then what are you?
These are the ones who end up creating fantastic British Got Talent memes. Please, if your loved one isn't great at something, don't make them go up a stage.
Interrupt lectures if you're the right race or if you're the right gender or the right sexual orientation. You get to do these things without punishment because, after all, that's in the nature of social justice, group justice. We don't hold you responsible for your individual actions. You get extra points in heaven because you were born with a certain skin color or sexual orientation.
And they just go right ahead to prove his point. Astonishing.
Are you at the feminist march or the feminist conference?
I am.
Can I ask you a couple questions about it?
Maybe.
Sweet. So I'm just out here trying to figure out, do street journalism. So I like asking questions.
Okay.
So what is the point of the feminist conference?
What what is the point? The point is to empower more women to take, to learn and to, what am I trying to say? To be able to, oh my God, my brain's not working. I'm so sorry.
I'm convinced they only gather for vibes and performative righteousness at this point. They never know anything. They just gather like powerless witches.
Your purple hair, you scream feminist. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Well, what are you?
I'm just a freelance journalist for the Young Turks.
What do you want to know?
What are your thoughts on the women's conference?
Well, this is my second one.
Okay.
And my thoughts are, it's very educational.
Okay.
For women, for people who typically don't feel powerful in the world.
I think you're powerful.
I appreciate that. I think I'm powerful now.
Yeah. When it comes to the women's conference, what type of messaging are they pushing? Do you think we're going towards like more feminism, or do you think we're going in the wrong direction?
I don't know what the wrong direction would be, because we're in such a bad place for women in general.
And how can it get better?
Come to the conference.
Yeah.
They won't let me in.
You buy a ticket?
No, I haven't tried.
They won't let you in.
If you don't try.
Because the thing is, there's allyship that needs to be involved. And coming in just for you, and I'm not attacking you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? But think of it this way.
Uh-huh.
You have a bunch of women who live in this
I love
world,
women.
and I appreciate that. But the facts are, women live in this world and we're not free. We have laws being put on our bodies, and we have restrictions being put on our lives.
What are they? What are the laws?
So when you come into these conferences, you hear women speaking their stories. So then you can view it from another way.
Right. What are the laws? So I'm trying to view it in your way.
From Texas.
Okay, that's awesome. The Lone Star State.
It's not awesome if you're a woman or a person of color or maybe trans or in the LGBTQ community, because the state government is literally attacking and stalking.
Can you tell me those? I'm still trying to find out the restrictions on women's bodies.
Seriously? Really?
Yeah, I'm just asking questions.
Wait, no. I mean, you can't ask that seriously, though, right?
Well, I just want your answers.
Okay. When access was removed from us.
Is that the only restriction?
Well,
oh, honey, this is too big
for $1 to men. There are a lot of things that cultural norms have taken over and made it more difficult to function as an independent female. One of the reasons that I'm here and one of the reasons that I love this is because it's the only place ever felt 100% completely safe, 100% safe.
See, I want to keep my wife safe, and I want to keep her.
See, that's the problem. What you just said. You can't keep her safe.
Wait, hold on,
she
though.
has to keep her safe.
World safe?
You need to tell other men to stop using women as prey.
No, they're not prey.
Property.
Oh, honey, we're prey, and we know it.
It must be so hard being a prey to your mind. You just close your eyes and there is it, the imaginary monster. How do you survive, you strong, independent female?
What's your name?
Jessica.
Bo, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, what's the overall messaging that the women's conference is pushing, and then what do you want to see at the women's conference?
Equality, equity,
okay,
inclusion, diversity.
Do you think that we're going in the right direction for feminism?
Absolutely not.
No.
No.
The opposite way?
We are going in the opposite. I am living in Florida.
Okay. Ron DeSanctimonious.
We are going in the wrong direction.
Okay.
The country likes him for some reason.
Ron DeSanctimonious? His numbers are going down.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Okay, so sorry, it's getting windy. What type of reform should be made that'll make it go in the right direction?
I don't know. That's why I'm here.
Okay. What's your thoughts? Because it's funded by the Women's March, which is their predominant issue is the pro-life, pro-choice. They're pro. What's your thoughts on the pro-life, pro-choice issue?
All of the above.
So you are pro-life and pro-choice?
I am pro-choice for myself.
Okay.
Pro-life for myself. And pro the government staying the heck out of my business.
Okay.
And the business of other women, non-binary people, anybody with a uterus, anybody with a body. Really, the government shouldn't be making those decisions for us.
Yeah.
It should be a person and their medical provider, and that's it.
So when does life begin?
Life begins at an atom? So you're trying to set me up here, aren't you?
No, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
When to you?
That's okay.
Does
We're done.
life? No, we were so nice.
You do not
we were
have
so
my
nice.
permission to publish this. You do not have my permission to publish this. If it gets
We were
published,
so
I will
nice.
sue.
We were so nice. Please, they, them, come back. Come back. No.
A 54-year-old, they them fighting for abortion. You think you've seen it all, then you watch an UnWoke video.
Why should I be ashamed of myself?
I'm not going on. Because you're anti-trans, you're a transphobe standing on the corner going, trans kids should be cis kids. Well, you know what? Trans kids are trans kids, and they shouldn't have to be trapped in their fucking body.
What makes a child trans?
You're born trans.
What does that mean?
Gender is a spectrum. How do we know?
Spectrum of what?
If I'm not God,
A spectrum of what?
I'm God, a spectrum of gender.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Everything's a spectrum, like the color, the rainbow. That's why it's for the LGBTQ community, is because color is a spectrum. So is gender. That's why there's gender studies in university.
So what's gender?
Nobody knows. You know why?
This is the
Because
point, right?
you're not God,
Yeah.
but you're playing God, and it kids up. You know how I know? I'm a trans person.
How are you?
Yeah, so go yourself.
Good stuff.
You're a asshole.
Do not touch me.
Yeah?
Do not.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Every kid matters. Every kid matters. Every kid matters. I matter. I'm a trans person who is saying,
Can you call the police, please?
You are an abusive person.
Just walk with me. Let's call the police. That's an assault. No, it's an assault.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she got arrested. Or he. I think it might be for fitting, because I refuse to have a pronoun stroke. It got arrested. If sex isn't so important, you wouldn't be chopping off your organs. Just a little food for thought.
He started out his presidency, pretty much the first words out of his mouth were, I want to be a president for all races and religions. Brian Lanza put out a statement last night denouncing all racism on behalf of the administration, as they've continually done. Today, he told the New York Times, I don't want any of this, stop it. He looked in the camera in 60 Minutes and said, cut it out. He's done this 4 times. If it were up to you,
Well,
Anna,
tell you what
or
he
to the
needs
left,
to
no,
do
let me
is-
finish. If it were up to you, Anna, or the leftists, he would spend every day of his presidency standing on top of Trump Tower with a megaphone saying, I am not a racist, but he's not going to do that. He's done it 4 times already. He's going to work for the American people, and he's not going to be baited into these traps you are trying to lay and the left are trying to lay.
Let me tell you something that probably doesn't happen to you. I get stopped by children who are afraid of going to school. I get stopped by Muslims who are afraid of going out in the street and having the scarves torn off their heads. I don't care what he does.
they play
If he
identity
doesn't want to
politics.
succeed as a president of the United States, that's perfect. If he wants to unite this country, he should use the bully pulpit he has now as president of the United
Anna,
States to give a unity speech.
And this was 8 years ago. He went through his tenure despite every opposition, and none of your fears came to life. Instead, America was better. Yet 8 years later, wokies started replaying the old record. Give it a rest already.
How are you?
Like 5'8", I hope.
On the edge of that for me, please?
I
No?
doing this girl.
Why not?
Why are you trying to put me on blast, dude?
Super quick.
I'm like 5'6", all right?
Oh, so now you're changing it? Let's see here. Sir, you're 5'5".
Okay.
Okay, we still love our short kings.
Next one.
How tall are you?
5'8".
5'8"?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 5'8".
Hey, Caitlin?
Hey,
wow! You can just step on the edge of that for me. That'd be really, really nice. You're 5'6".
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was 5'8".
You thought? How'd you think that? Basically
So
6
loud.
foot though. You round up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. How tall are you?
5'8".
5'8"? Okay. Are you sure about that?
Lower it.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Okay. Can you confirm or deny? No. Sir. Sir, you're 5'6".
I'm not 5'6". No, she's probably 5'5".
She's actually 4'11".
God.
So you're definitely 5'5".
I guess.
How much do you weigh?
115.
Like 112, I think. Last time I checked, like 97.
Like 109.
120. 102.
I have a scale here, so what I think we're gonna do, we need to confirm if like weight. So I think, where do we set this up at? I think we honestly, Camila, okay. Holy oh God, all scuffed it with the exposure.
We're all
Was
pretty
it this
small,
one? I
though.
feel like was I need to my
I probably
camera setting was
deserve
all
this.
fucked up on this. Okay, I think we're gonna do it.
Myself in a long time, but I like weighing myself.
I feel like it's like I feel like
kinda
I look
humbling.
fine, so it's like okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay,
that's
125.
big,
What,
so it kind of
I don't
defeats
know.
the purpose.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious myself, so if we could
Wait to it, like, yep, you're
250.
What did you say?
115.
checks out.
Wow. Whoa.
Do you think she lied? Exactly?
She's 118.
Is this where we put a meme and call her a fat liar?
Personally, think that the Columbus murals portray warts in history, obviously, which I think should be portrayed. Would you also support an alternative mural depicting Lakota people scalping settlers?
Scalping the settlers?
Tanyan Maniyo.
Could you describe, well, hold on, I want to speak with you. I suppose the question that he should answer is whether there is any comparison between some gratuitously violent display.
No shock there. Okay, that's it for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment, and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.